GSF injections waiting this morning. Good, good. This is stem cell activation stuff, just like what I did before the harvest.
Episode 15, I think it's 15 anyway. I lose track of these in the same way that I used to lose track of time when I was in the hospital. Basically, what I want to do now is make them a little bit shorter. So to continue, otherwise I'd have to sort of lump some certain days together arbitrarily. And it makes the episodes much longer. So hopefully these will all be under about sort of 12-13 minutes. On today's exciting edition of HSCT vlog, we're doing blood sugar checking. We are doing GSF injections, we are doing careful weeing, and we are doing urgent bladders.
Interesting way to start the day. Yay! Stabby, stabby.
By the time the GSF injections came round, I'd kind of forgotten I was meant to be having them again. I mean, it makes sense, given that they're kick-starting your immune system with your own stem cells, and they want you to make more stem cells, obviously, to help with that. But yeah, it completely slipped my mind. They don't really hurt, especially compared to the Clexane. It was just annoying to keep having things, you know, jabbed in your stomach.
Okay, sharp scratch.
Well, that was very painless. That was actually that was completely fine. I don't even know why I bothered from it. That was, yeah.
Hopefully you won't have a break.
Now, do they say sharp scratch everywhere? I thought this when I was in hospital, and I strangely got used to them saying sharp scratch immediately before sticking you. Found that if they didn't do it, I disliked the injection more. Like they're having them, even though I knew they were going to do it, even though I knew it would sting just the same, I liked them saying it. I found it comforting. Do other people say it? Is it an NHS thing? In America, do they say sharp scratch before they stick you? I don't know. Let me know. That hurt less than the usual night.
The big jab.
Yeah, thanks.
No worries.
And that's every day until I die?
For your neutrophils,
Yeah.
so
Basically,
wait
it's
for
like
the counts to come back up.
Until I go back to 1.
Yes,
Okay.
and then it will stop.
They're like really expensive, shit-tasting Tic Tacs.
Got it?
I believe you did. Blood sugars. So along with all the other OBS, they do blood sugars every day. It doesn't hurt, it stings a little bit. To be honest, it does sting more though. They get your finger, and rather than just pressing the thing on it, they would sort of try and drive it through, like they're trying to pop it out the other side. They're still pretty tiny and a pretty innocuous part of the day.
Is that it? Sweet.
5.7.
Right.
Thanks.
Sunday the 6th of October. Quick update, I've filmed a bit this morning. Yeah, not a hugely exciting day so far. I napped, I ate, I woke up, antibiotics, pills, all that kind of stuff. Same old, lots of obs. Only point of interest today, obviously I'm still doing a fluid sort of chart, so every time I wee, I have to go in a bottle there. Just as a pointer, always make sure you're paying full attention when having a wee, because if you fail to pay full attention to what you're doing, I'm not saying it's happened, but you could end up weeing all over your pajamas.
I was playing on my phone, I pissed on myself. Be careful with your phone, kids.
Completely unrelated issue, I'm in some new pajamas, which is probably good anyway. But yeah, given as I'm vlogging every day, that seemed like a reasonable thing to cover. So yeah, speak to you later.
Make the noise, sometimes it goes off.
It is a alcohol wipe to clean your line.
Thanks very much, then I'll stop doing this.
Okay, Monday, October 6th, hello, day 11, 12, 13. Same day as normal, it is sort of 1 o'clock now. I've had food, I've been fed, I've been watered. I'm currently hooked up to the antibiotics. This doesn't happen very much anymore. I think I get 1 dose of stuff in the morning, 1 dose in the afternoon, and then another one in the evening, and then that's pretty much it. Excuse me. Very burpy. This seems to happen every time I film. I think it's I try and talk more.
I've mentioned before about being a little bit more burpy. Generally, this was a side effect of the drugs. It has all calmed down now a few months later. That's normal. But it did seem to happen more every time I turned the camera on.
Yeah, no, all is the same as it's been for quite a few days now. It's all pretty straightforward. Life is boring and simple. They bring me drinks, they bring me food, they take those things away, they clean my room. It's a very, very simple existence. Kind of getting used to it really, maybe a little bit too much. Working a lot on the edits, on work. So one day eventually when all that's cleared, I might look at some of this stuff and see what I've actually been capturing for the last 2.5 weeks. Isn't really much to report. In terms of today, the only thing really that I've been noticing, I noticed it yesterday, I can't even remember if I talked about it, like I have no idea, but so I'm still on a fluid chart, and at the moment it feels like, I feel like apparently I'm outputting more than I'm taking on board. I'm putting out more than I'm taking on board. So I'm weeing quite a lot during the day. Now obviously I'll still take that as a preference over the catheter, but I have noticed a sort of increased urgency. So for what would have been ordinarily sort of like, oh, I could wee in like half an hour, like it's there but you don't need to go, you sort of in 10 minutes becomes quite uncomfortable.
I don't think in this case it was an MS thing. I mean, it might be, and I know it's an MS symptom for an awful lot of people, but in this instance I think it had more to do with the catheter coming out and not like damage caused, but just bladder having to get used to controlling itself.
No, I don't really know what that is. I don't know if that's an MS thing now, if that's an increase in symptoms. Urgency for weeing and going to the toilet, all that kind of stuff is an MS thing, which I've never really had. I mean, maybe that's now one of my symptoms that I'll have for a year or so until things start to calm down. I don't know whether or not it's a response to the fact that I went through a period of not drinking very much caffeine, and now every time I drink a coffee, it sort of goes through me very quickly.
Yes, and the caffeine thing, that stayed for a couple of months after I got out. Drink a coffee, need to have 4 wees very urgently. You get used to it and it gets better. And when I first came out, needing to wee a lot overnight, continued. I was getting up sort of 4 or 5 times. Again, also calms down, but at the time it felt like I had the bladder of like a 65-year-old man.
There you go. That's the story of my wee. Very exciting for you. But this is what life becomes while you're in here. I don't tend to overthink stuff that much, like with bloods. My wife always asks about them. I don't ask. I figure if there's a problem they'll tell me, otherwise I'm not really fussed. Time is something you'll have a huge amount of. The consultant doctors, they did the warn round this morning, they came in and said that this is the boring part. I don't actually find it that boring. I'm used to a fairly sedentary existence where I sit down and spend like 12 hours editing when I can get away with it. So it doesn't actually bother me that much at all, but I can imagine if you're a much more active person, existing in this bubble would get quite boring, quite frustrating. You've got a TV, which is really nice, and you don't have to pay for it in here, which is brilliant. I know when you're out on the bay, you're looking at like £12 for £15 for 3 days, something stupid.
I don't know what it's like in hospitals in other countries. I only know the NHS, and in the NHS, you get charged for TV when you're on the bay. You have to buy a card, and I think 3 days costs £15, and it's like a protection racket. So they'll give you a couple of hours of free TV in the morning, so you can enjoy BBC Breakfast or old episodes of Frasier, and then 10 o'clock, bam, you're gone, you're cut off, and you have to pay. Whereas in the isolation room, I don't know if it was just logistically difficult to set up, or they feel sorry for you, but you get free TV all the time, and it's nice. Side note, in the age of streaming, it seems absurd that they can still be in a situation where they charge you to access the TV. Everybody's got their own subscriptions. They should charge you to use the Wi-Fi, and then you could use your Netflix and your Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff.
But here you get Freeview and all that kind of stuff, but there's only so much TV you can watch. The Wi-Fi is not great, so Netflix works, Amazon Prime doesn't really work, but it's all a bit varied, and there's only a certain amount you can do. So my recommendation for anybody coming in is to make sure you have things to do, and not just passive things, like actively be doing stuff. So reading is good, playing games is good, things that keep your mind kind of active so you're not going quietly stir crazy. For me, all my time pretty much goes on doing these edits and working on stuff that I shot over the summer. And then when that's done, when I'm home and I'm still in a kind of isolation bubble at home, I'll be editing these vlogs, I imagine, and come back to all that now. But my suggestion would be to bring in things with you that will keep you entertained. Vlogging is quite an interesting thing. I mean, you can do it with your phone. You don't need to use cameras and all the kind of gear that I bring with me. If you want to do something like that, it keeps your family and friends updated on how things are going. That's a good idea. What other things could you do in here? I know, cross-stitch, crocheting. I know there's some ladies in my office that really love that kind of thing. Colouring, anything that keeps you busy, anything that keeps you moderately entertained and not just passively sat there, because you're going to spend a lot of time sat in a bed, or if you're lucky and excitable, sat in a chair. So yeah, things that will keep you entertained. I'm going to try and come up with a few more examples. Maybe I might even film some exciting B-roll to go with it at a later time. But that's it. That's my tip for the day. So talked about wee, talked about busyness. That's it. I'll speak to you later.
Finish! Hopefully a little bit shorter than previous episodes. I don't know if I stuck to it. I keep trying to be short and never make it happen. Mostly this, future Chris, yakking, that's the problem. Anyway, jumping forward. Right, so I didn't get bored in the bubble. Being awake for 14 hours a day and editing for 12 to 13 of those is something I would probably do when I was home. But for other people who are a bit more physically active, you will start to feel kind of like you're in a cage and you'll be wanting things to do. I learnt my lesson about the bottles and managed to not wee on myself again for the duration of my stay, or since I've been home, but that is pretty much it. I will see you for the next one. The next episode is nightstand, or nice, I don't know how you say it, nightstand mouthwash and platelets. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you if you subscribe, that'd be brilliant. If you could put a thumbs up, that'd be amazing. And I will see you in the next one. See you later. To a point where if I start putting today's exciting exciting input on today. Now, do they say chart scratch every? Do that again. Only 3 times. Didn't have to for 2 weeks. That kind of went off. So TV. I don't know if yes, and the caffeine thing that stayed. Hair. Have I got hair?